Podcast. My opinion. Podcast. All nine niggas.
All right. We are back with another episode of In My Opinion Podcast. I got Rudy Ortiz to my left.
Yes, sir.
Like usual. And we got Ryan to the right. I don't know if you want me to give your last name, but maybe you'll give it at the end of the podcast.
I can give it right now.
All right.
It's Ryan Pinkston.
Ryan Pinkston.
Attorney at law.
Dun, dun, dun.
But before we talk about law,
sure.
And Rudy, before you got here, I was telling Ryan that I've been excited. I've been wanting an attorney on here.
Yes.
I'm going to ask some regular, normal questions. But before we do that, we do this game called This or That. You pick one or the other, and you tell us why. This week, we're going to do TV shows because we're all over the age of 40. That makes us sound old, but we're still in our goddamn prime. Okay?
The way you say it, though, it hurts, man. The way you say it, it gives me a back spasm, the way you say it.
It made me excited. People think I'm 60, so
Nice.
So all these TV shows are going to be a little bit older, but I grew up on them, and hopefully you guys did too. So, Rudy, we're going to pass it over to you to the left first.
All right, this or that.
We're going to go with Seinfeld or Roseanne.
Oof, man. All right. I know that the if you're a comic, you might typically be expected to say Seinfeld, but Roseanne was also a comic. I think we don't take that into consideration enough when we think about the show Roseanne. Also a stand-up comic that was popping in the 80s, got offered the TV show. But Roseanne's show morphed into something that for me was like more personal because I used to watch that shit on TGIF. Late on ABC back in the day.
It was on Friday night?
Was it
I
Friday?
thought it was on Tuesday or Wednesday night.
Well, whatever their primetime, one of their primetime TV slots, you know what I'm saying? That shit used to come on, and I feel like I grew up with Roseanne's kids because I used to watch that show since since I was a youngster, since I was DJ's age. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw Darlene and Becky, and I saw the two different Beckys, and Aunt Jackie was having a fucking crisis every other episode and shit. And she was fucking marrying some dude that was beating her. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was who Aunt Jackie was. And then Dan Connor died. Which is crazy because he's on the new one, the Connors.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how that happened. But he died, or there was an episode at least where he had a heart attack or something like that. And I think that's how it ended. So for me, it was like, it took me in on a personal journey. Seinfeld to me was funny, but it was too goofy for me sometimes, you know? Like I couldn't really get into it as much as other people were getting into it because I was like, yeah, man, it just feels like every single week they're just doing bits. And I wanted the show to be a show. Yeah, I wanted to get pulled in, so I'm going Roseanne, man. Believe it or not.
Just going with Roseanne. Before I give my answer, I'm going to kick it over to you, Ryan. What you got?
it's Roseanne for sure. No hate to Seinfeld. I got into Seinfeld later in life. It was like, it's a show about nothing, right? And that's part of the cleverness of it. And I've really come to enjoy some of Larry David's other stuff, Curb Your Enthusiasm, those sort of stuff. But I really didn't watch Seinfeld growing up. I started watching Seinfeld reruns on Netflix or on TBS or something like that. I grew up with Roseanne. Like, I remember when the show was either canceled or they went on like a short hiatus. And when they came back, Becky was different.
Yeah.
And I remember
Becky.
And I remember T.R.A.G.I.C is her name. I don't know why I remember that. I could see it in the credits. But I remember being pissed off that they had a new Becky and they pretended like it didn't happen.
I hated that. It was like when Aunt Viv got swapped from a dark skinned Aunt Viv to a light skinned Aunt Viv. And we were all supposed to pretend like we didn't see that shit.
Right, yeah.
Following religiously.
So I don't think Dan Connor actually died.
Was it a dream sequence or something?
So it was a cop-out, right? Because he died, and then Roseanne woke up from a dream, and none of it happened. And I was pissed at that. Like, that's such an easy way out for a show to, and then I was dreaming, like, kind of thing. It's like, no. Yeah,
but I do remember that the dream thing it impacted me.
And I also didn't like when they won the lottery.
Oh, my God.
Like, how unrealistic. But let me tell you why I really liked Roseanne. First of all, I think it was like a Tuesday night show.
I think it was Tuesday night.
But I grew up in Central Illinois originally. I'm from Decatur. Lanford, Illinois is a real place. And the show was set in Lanford, Illinois.
Oh, shit.
The Roseanne house is in Terre Haute, Indiana. See, I'm a Midwest guy. I'm giving you some
go
facts.
for it.
So the house itself, I think, is in Terre Haute, Indiana, which is like southwest Indiana. But Lanford is supposed to be this like podunk little hillbilly town in the middle of Illinois, kind of like where I grew up. So I could relate to a lot of stuff they were talking about, a lot of stuff they were going through, like the bingo hall and the corny dive bar.
So it was accurate to the Midwest at that time?
It really was.
Really?
Like my grandmother had a couch with like an old ugly Afghan hanging over the back of it.
Right.
Like, so I saw that and I was like, yeah, this is like Midwest. living.
Yeah.
And the Lanford lunchbox with loose meat sandwiches. I've had loose meat sandwiches. Like,
What exactly is a loose meat sound? Like bologna?
it's kind of like a roast. What you would think is like a roast beef or like a French dip or
Okay.
something like that. But you know, the Midwest version. So when
Yeah.
when they started the lunchbox, that resonated with me because
Yes.
I've had that kind of food. You know, so definitely like comfort food.
Jackie couldn't keep that fucking job either.
Yeah, right.
Jackie's just fucking up, man.
Like the Connors are like my cousins, is what it felt like for me. So it's
Dude.
definitely Roseanne.
Okay, I will have to triple down on Roseanne, but I will give you guys. I like the fact that Seinfeld had defined characters, right? We had Elaine, we had George, you had Jerry, and I enjoyed that about the show. But when it comes to joke writing, Roseanne was on another level to me. To me, I know the viewers are gonna be like, well, "What the hell are you thinking of?"
Why is
But
that? Because Seinfeld was all jokes.
Yeah, but just the way I remember when they did some joke about like the ground beef they used for the what the fuck is that called?
The pot roast?
Not pot roast, but shit, I don't even eat it. What's that shit? Like a big patty of ground beef. What's
big
that?
pat-
What's
meatloaf.
that shit? Meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Again, that's a white person thing, so that's why I didn't fucking
That
know,
shit was
right?
so foreign.
But
It's just like,
yeah,
I
it was so foreign to me. But they did a joke
You
about
love
that
meatloaf,
where,
don't you?
I love meatloaf. You didn't have meatloaf in the Bay Area? Come on.
No.
no, I didn't. Yeah, Mexicans don't grow up with meatloaf. I didn't even know what a bondigas was and shit. Like
Balls.
Yeah, we didn't even have those growing up. So okay, there we hit both sides. But she did a joke about the meatloaf shit, and she was talking about how her meatloaf has more white in it than red or whatever in that episode. And I was like, and that's because it wasn't no 80-20 meatloaf. It wasn't no 93-7. It was 70-30 at least or some shit, right? So just the little details that they used in Roseanne, where I was just like, man, that shit was inspiring. And the fact, like you said, they touched on some shit, and Dan was an OG in that show, bro. Where Dan went to put his hands on
Jackie's boyfriend?
on Jackie's
And
boyfriend.
and Becky's
Dan was always beating somebody's ass.
Oh, yeah.
Dan was beating fool's ass. The only one that did his ass beat was David Arquette, but he almost tried it though.
Like I have two older sisters, and so I was DJ, right?
Yeah.
I got Darlene and Becky, my older sisters, and I remember my dad and my oldest sister's boyfriend getting in an argument, and it was like what happened with Becky and her boyfriend was like older, and was like, "Hey, let's leave. Just get on the bike and let's go."
I remember.
It resonated with me. He was like I can't remember
a
his
greaser
name,
guy,
leather jacket.
But Dan ended up being cool with him.
Correct.
When they got married, when Becky and I think his name was David.
Todd. No, David was
David was
Darlene's.
Darlene's,
Darlene's.
yeah.
I think his name was Todd or
If
something.
anybody knows Becky's boyfriend, call us in or just hit the text line. Dude, you should put up a fake number.
He wound up being a mechanic or
555.
something. Yeah, so I don't want to get off topic, but like that, like I witnessed my dad go through that, and so like that resonated with me. That was real life.
And maybe to me the show was because again I grew up, my family didn't have a lot of money and shit, so we knew what it was like going from paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
when Dan wasn't having his drywall fucking jobs and shit like
Yeah,
that.
right. There you go.
You was like, okay, cool. This show kind of reminds me of mine.
Seinfeld, I'll say this though, because we tripled down on Roseanne. Seinfeld was ahead of its time now that we look back on it, because in reality, Seinfeld, I started listening to it, like you said, a little bit later in life, but I never really watched it. I just knew it was Seinfeld, and by the time I got into it, it had already had a lot of time on the air, and it had a lot of notoriety. So I was like, all right, well, let me fuck with this, right? I mean, I've bypassed it all these years, and I would never really watch it. I would just listen to it, like while I was doing other shit. It would just be in the background. And the reason I say it was ahead of its time is because that's basically what a fucking podcast is now. Because that's all they're doing is doing bits. It's like joke after joke after joke. It's a joke train, which is fine.
Right.
And a lot of stuff is well written, but it just never really pulled me in. But I do think it was ahead of its time, because that's basically a podcast now. Just people just having conversation back and forth, cracking jokes and shit. So I think he hit it on the head with that. It was interesting in that regard. That's probably why people still fuck with it today. Because it hits like that.
This is where I'm gonna have to come in, and again, it's gonna sound negative, but I'm not trying to sound negative. Where I did like Seinfeld, but it wasn't until I watched Curb Your Enthusiasm where I was like, Larry David is the one who fucking wrote Seinfeld as well.
And also,
it's the same writing, it's the same shit, just minus the Seinfeld.
And if you listen to Larry David tell stories, he is George Costanza.
Yes.
Like, that is, and George Costanza might be, he's I'm not even an argument. He's top 5 TV characters of all time.
Absolutely, bro.
Maybe top 3.
We need to list those.
He's so ridiculous.
Yes.
But just to the point where you could believe that this person actually exists.
Yes.
Like Cosmo Kramer, that's not a real person.
Right.
That can't be a real person. But
Right.
George Costanza, you're like, I kind of know. I think I know George.
Yeah, but when you're talking about all-time great TV characters, Cosmo Kramer might be in the top 10 at least, man. Because that's a guy that's like the mascot of a TV show.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct,
like
correct.
you identify the show with Kramer.
Even the story that they had on George going off at work saying that he quit this fucking job, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, and then ends up showing up the next day and pretending. That's how Larry David quit SNL.
Correct.
And then
That's
just
100% true.
And then just showed back up and was like, all right, so what are we working on today? So that shit is fucking
His
hilarious.
next door neighbor apparently was named Kramer and was like, well, just go in and pretend you didn't quit. And he's like, I can't do that. And Kramer's like, yeah, go do that. Larry David did that at Saturday Night Live.
That's hilarious.
The writer's room was like, what are you doing here?
And they gave him his job back?
yeah.
Holy shit. He's like, and he worked there for 17 more years. Like, what the fuck? Damn,
All right,
that's
you
a
guys.
gangster ass story right there.
I put these two shows together, but we'll let you go first because I know Rudy's probably not going to agree with me on this statement because I think these two shows are alike, but they're not alike.
Okay.
So Cosby Show or The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
As a kid or now?
Well, obviously you're going to have different outlook of The Cosby Show now.
For the record, I hate the Cosby Show. I can't stand that guy.
Bill Cosby. Ryan Pinkston.
I'm saying in the 80s and 90s when
I
he was
ate-
watching it before all of his drama.
I ate
just the show.
Yeah. I'm going to say Fresh Prince. More because I watched that more frequently than the Cosby Show. I didn't watch a lot of the Cosby Show growing up. I know it was groundbreaking. I've heard wonderful things about it and what it was doing for African Americans on TV. But I just wasn't a big fan at the time. I didn't watch a lot of it. I've probably seen every Fresh Prince episode.
Right.
So, and I still laff when DJ Jazzy Jeff gets thrown out the front door.
And I still cry when his dad leaves him for the 30th
Oh
time.
my
about to
god!
ask
How come you don't want me, man?
Some of the Uncle Phil and Will moments were like they were corny. They're cheesy now that I look back and I watch them, but they hit me hard in that age. Like so, I have to go Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before I give my answer, Rudy.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going with? Do you even think these two shows are in the same realm?
To be honest with you, no. But it's also because I just the Cosby Show was it was too like clean cut for me, you know. And at that time, like when I started watching, TV, like the primetime TV shows, I'm a youngster. I'm like 12, 13. I got my little schedule and stuff for like adult shows, not just like cartoons and shit. And Fresh Prince was one of them. And I looked at the Cosby Show. I remembered it from growing up, and it was like the family. I couldn't relate to the family at all. I didn't know anything about college or like my dad wasn't a doctor. It just didn't seem relatable to me. You know what I mean? So I just completely plus I didn't get the jokes. It wasn't really like funny to me. I didn't really feel like it was very well written. I mean, every now and then Bill Cosby would go do his fucking thing or do his fucking. But it took me years to figure out that he was a gynecologist who had an office downstairs. Like every time they came
I
up,
don't think he was a gynecologist on the show. Wasn't he like a therapist or a psychologist or something?
he was an OBGYN, I want to
Was
say.
he?
We got to look it up.
Yeah. I think
was-
We
he was-
found out after the fact he was doing that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't
no,
think he was that on the
that
show.
was a little Easter egg that he
Yeah,
left.
no, I want to say he had something to do with pregnant women.
What? Okay, what was-
because he had a lot of pregnant women on the show.
Heath
So
So this is how little I watched the
Cliff.
show. I don't remember specifically, but
Huxtable.
while he's looking that up,
It was a smart and sophisticated show.
while he's
I'll give
looking
you
that
that.
up, I will say
Oh, he was a physician, but still though.
You can find it. You're not looking hard enough.
No,
Go
occupation,
ahead. Sorry,
physician.
Rick.
Cliff Huxtable, Wikipedia. What kind of doctor was Bill Cosby? OBGYN.
yeah.
Okay.
That's a little too. That's too
Okay.
much, man.
Yeah.
That's a little too much. So I mean, just to wrap it up though, like I'm not a big Cosby Show fan because I just didn't get it. I couldn't relate to it. Will Smith, at the very least, he was cool. He was a rapper. He was a funny ass dude. The show was like over the top funny, and then it got really good. Like it got emotional later on, and that was cool too. So I'm with the Fresh Prince, bro. Like to me, that's no contention whatsoever.
I liked the moments when Carlton came out to be actually. You found out Carlton was actually cool because that related to me. I was like, because that's how I dance. Like, so
he took my dance.
Like, if he can be cool, there's a chance for me in this world.
But Carlton was also gangster though, fool.
Yeah,
Remember that one time he was gonna go shoot that dude who shot Will?
Yeah,
he had that gun. He pulled that 38 out of his members club only jacket. He was Carlton, what is that, man? It's a gun, Will. And he was like, give me that, man. Give me that. Will Smith was always crying. Come on, man.
I feel like Rudy just watched all these episodes last week. He knows a little too much about this stuff.
They're just on repeat on YouTube.
Yeah.
I got a 3-year-long mix.
Got it.
All right, this is where I'm probably going to have to disagree with you guys. Again, let me say first and foremost, I can separate the art and the artist. All right?
Yeah.
I think the art of Cosby Show was groundbreaking. It was something different. It was totally different. And watching it, I think I can remember damn near 80% of the show. I'm not saying that Fresh Prince wasn't even more dope. I liked the sister was cute as shit on that show.
Right.
Both the sisters, right? What's her name?
Hillary and Ashley. Is I think you're talking about.
Yeah.
You don't remember their
I
names?
used to love Hillary Banks, bro. I fucking loved Hillary Banks. That was my boo thing. And Major Payne.
Yeah, I was gonna say she was in Major Payne.
She was so gorgeous. What's her? I don't even know what her name was, but she was the one.
She was the one. She was the one back then. So
With no name.
And that's barely by a cunt hair. You know what I mean? That's barely probably Cosby over the Fresh Prince for me. Only because
Don't say cunt hair around Bill Cosby.
I didn't ask before we came on what words we're allowed to say. Hold on.
We can say them all.
Here we go.
If we can find more words than cunt, we want to hear it.
Yeah, okay, got it. All right.
It's on YouTube, goddammit. Don't worry. So yeah, it's just a bit over. Now these two are probably more side by side. So I'll go first this time.
Okay.
We're gonna go with Full House or Family Matters.
Oh man,
I'm gonna go ahead and go with a Full House.
that's a heavyweight championship belt.
I'm gonna go with Full House only because I think that was kind of groundbreaking too, to see like 3 dudes growing up, raising girls and stuff like that. I think I just tuned in a little more to Full House than I did to Family Matters. Not saying that I didn't. You know, everybody had that, did I do that shit growing up? Everybody fucking did it.
That was phenomenal, bro. Urkel was an icon. Another one of the maybe top 10 all-time TV characters. Urkel.
One of those guys, if you mention him, clearly everybody knows who he is.
Urkel, Kramer.
Even if you've never seen the show, you know who Steve Urkel is.
Yeah.
But even though everybody knows who Steve Urkel was, but back then, everybody, and to this day, everybody knows who John Stamos is, man. Like, I remember that dude was like Burt Reynolds was in the 70s and the 80s, bro.
He's still killing it, bro.
And yeah, he fucking...
Bitches love Uncle Jesse, man.
Yeah, I think my
Jesse.
mom played DJ Hero watching that show or some shit.
But dude, tell me when he wasn't singing fucking with Jesse and the Rippers. Tell me he wasn't like he was a fucking man crush right there, bro. For every viewer in America had a man crush on him.
Did you think Aunt Becky was hot?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was
I did too.
that was the
And then
sexiest
when
couple on TV.
And then when she had to do prison time for the whole,
Even hotter.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
Hotter.
You're like,
All right,
she can survive in a shower.
Coming out of that cell with their dirty nails.
With all that said, are you going with Family Matters or you going with Full House?
Man, that's a heavyweight bout. That is fucking Terrence Crawford versus Canelo right there. But since I'm stripping it all the way down, and I love both of them, and I grew up on both of them, but I gotta go Full House. And I'm gonna give it one little. I mean, there's a lot of great things to say about Family Matters. Urkel, fucking Carl Winslow, fucking Lisa or Laura's hating ass. Never want to give fucking Urkel no play. And then Stefan comes into the picture and she's sucking his dick. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And then fucking even Eddie and Waldo Geraldo Faldo was like one of my favorite names to say. And then the little girl the little sister that mysteriously disappeared after season 1.5, like in mid-season she was gone and they made no reference whatsoever. And then they changed the mom there too. Fucking Harriet changed from a black dark skin Harriet to light skin Harriet. And plus, it was tied into Perfect Strangers.
You know, man, while I'm bringing up these TV shows, I got to throw this out there where I'm so glad I waited till this week to do it and we didn't do it last week.
Right.
Because both of you guys are just jogging so many memories,
But
and I know the viewers are going to be...
They're going to fucking love this shit.
Yeah,
Like, oh my
yeah.
God, I love Erico. But even with all that being said about how much I love, what's it called? Family Matters? Bro, Full House was in San Francisco. And for a kid in the Bay Area, me watching that... And already enjoying the show for what it was, but now they have a reference that I could really like relate to. That hit it home for me. I was like, man, that's in San Francisco. I see them going over the Golden Gate Bridge. Every time I see the Golden Gate Bridge, I associate it with Full House.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's how deep of a connection is. So when I see the Golden Gate Bridge, it brings back childhood memories. Don't ask me why.
Have you visited the house?
No, I'm everywhere. It's so hard.
And I only asked that because, again...
when it comes downstairs and you're all alone.
I was gonna sing the whole song. I just thought I'd
Dude, it's so good.
throw it out there.
Jesse and the Rippers. If every word I said couldn't make you laugh, I talk forever. That shit slap.
Yeah.
And when they played the music video on the show, I was like, what is this all about? I fucking leaned in. But San Francisco was the deciding factor for me, like in terms of like it's seared into my mind.
Yeah.
You know, I remember growing up saying that's where I'm from. That's the Bay Area. I thought that was cool. So I'm going Full House.
What are you going with, Ryan? And first, before you give me the answer, have you gone to go see the house? And I'm only asking because you're not from this area.
So I came out here for the first time ever in probably, I'm going to say 2009 on vacation. Rented a car. It was February. It was like 60 degrees in the city. It was like, give me that convertible. It was like half price. And everyone was wearing like full-length fur coats in the Bay. Everyone was freezing their ass off. I was in Chicago. We had 3 feet of snow on the ground. So I was driving around in a convertible, went across the Bay Bridge stuff. Of course, I went to the Full House house.
Yep.
And when I got there was a line standing there waiting to take pictures. And I sort of thought to myself, like, these poor people that live here, they have to deal with just people standing on their front porch all the time.
And
that
now people go in their car, get bipped while they're going.
Yeah,
to
well, right. It's different now.
Or driving away. Did I do that?
But that was like in 2009, 2010, and the show wasn't even on the air anymore,
Right.
and there were still people standing out in front of the house. So yeah, so I haven't been back since. But it's it's check it off the list. I went there once. For me, it's not even close. I'm not hating on you putting them in the same sentence, Family Matters and Full House, but you got
they're heavyweights.
You got to cut it out. It's definitely Full House.
He's the greatest guy I know. Ranger Joe.
You know he was thinking of that the whole time.
It's definitely Full House, man. And looking back on it too, I actually think it's kind of funny that there's like you got 3 dudes sort of like living an ambiguous lifestyle in this in this row house in San Francisco, and nobody's asking any questions about it.
If there was a surprise episode where one of the 3 guys comes out as gay, which one would it be?
And are they actually related? Like, I need to see a family.
No.
In the show?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need to see a family tree.
Okay, so Danny Tanner was, I'll tell you right now, Danny Tanner
Perfect.
was married to Uncle Jesse's sister, and she died.
So how's Uncle Joey fit in there?
Uncle Joey is I think it's Danny Tanner's homie from like back in the day.
So
from
he's
school.
not related. He's
no,
just
he's
a
not.
friend.
He's not. He's a friend of the family.
He's
and
a
then,
hanger-on.
Yes, but he's a stand-up comic and he's trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and Danny Tanner's like, dude, come on, I'm on TV. I do Good Morning San Francisco with fucking Becky. And then later on, he got with Vicky, his next co-host.
Yeah.
Because Uncle Jesse and Aunt Becky moved upstairs into the attic.
Right.
That was a pimped out ass attic though.
Yeah,
like that shit. That shit was clean. They had little twin boys,
twins, yeah.
which didn't make any sense to me. I was like, I didn't really like them that much, so I don't really know what happened to them. I'm all hating on them. They're like 2 years old. but yes, but that's how they all tied in. But which one do you think would be gay if one of them came out? Which one would you think would be it? Would it be Danny Tanner,
no.
Joey Gladstone?
I think it would have been Joey.
Really?
I think it would have been Joey. I don't think, and that's the thing that I didn't understand about Full House is if John Stamos was this good looking dude outside of the show, why not in the show wasn't he getting more play? Like what's that show with Charlie Sheen? Like 2.5
Because it was 1988. Well, you can't fucking have him
They should
talking
have had
about
him playing like that.
Nah, hell no, bro. But you know, Uncle Jesse used to get hell ass though, fool, because he had a little saying.
More than anybody else's.
Of course, bro.
Yeah.
Uncle Jesse was a fuck machine, bro. He was pulling.
Have mercy.
Have mercy. What do you think that means? You only say have mercy when you're getting flogged or when you're getting your dick sucked. That's the only times you say that, bro. So he was a fucking pimp, and then he met Aunt Becky. He met Becky, and she had that
so
good
he
wop.
couldn't have been the gay one. So you're thinking that it was.
I mean, a lot of dudes will do anything to hide that to hide the truth, you know. But you think it's Uncle Joey?
I think what you're saying is that Danny Tanner's dead wife was actually a beard.
Yes, bro. I think Danny Tanner.
He killed her.
But he was happy it happened.
Okay.
He's happy.
He was happy it happened. He's like, whoo, my stars. You know what I'm saying? And then that's why he had his 3 daughters. He never had any trouble with them. And he had one girl, Vicky. But if you really go back and you watch that show, she wasn't really fucking with him, and he was okay with that. Like, she wasn't that interested in him. You know what I'm saying?
The only girl that was really interested in Danny Tanner was Kimmy Gibbler.
For real.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. T. She's the when she turned 19, she used to hit him up. Hey, Mr. T.
Did you guys watch Fuller House when it came?
No.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I refuse to watch the fucking reboot.
Not because I don't watch bad TV. I just never saw it. It's just I've never had, like, I see it on Netflix pass. Like,
yeah. Dude,
it can't be good.
It was trash.
Okay.
So now DJ is the fucking boss of the house. She's like the Danny Tanner. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, get a life, you know?
All right, you guys. Before we go on, only because I'm having fun with these questions, I got to ask this one.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a time limit on it.
Yeah,
So tell me to shut up if I need to shut up.
This is going to be the last one before we get to the law questions.
Okay.
Right?
The reason you're here, Ryan.
All right.
Great.
And I think I'm going to go with... Oh, yeah. See, jeez. Yeah, I got to go with this one because, again, you guys... If you haven't watched both of these, Rudy, and you don't have no comments, I'll be like, nope, we're switching to one more. So
Go for it.
Wonder Years or Boy Meets World? Well, who wants to go first? Want me to go first while you guys...
So I watched Wonder Years as a kid in the family living room. Boy Meets World was a few years later. Yeah. I didn't see it as consistently.
Yeah.
But I think this is a question of what is it, Winnie or Topanga?
Yeah,
like, I feel like that's what it comes down to.
That's really what it comes down to.
I think I'm a Topanga fan.
Really?
At that time, I think I'm a Topanga fan. Yeah, Winnie was cute, but she's a little plain Jane.
Interesting.
Topanga had a little more sauce, I think.
So can I get some Topanga sauce, please? You guys have any Topanga sauce left? There's too much Topanga sauce.
Before Rudy goes on his rant,
Yeah.
let me go on mine. I will say Topanga was way cuter.
Thank you.
And you were right.
Thank you.
Winnie, especially towards the end of the show, when they get to graduation or whatever, you was like, Winnie wasn't even that cute, bro. Like, why is Arnold all over her butt cheeks about this
She
thing?
was hotter when she was older.
And I wished as a kid to have a dad the way Arnold's dad was, bro.
Right.
Like, he was the epitome of a fucking man back then.
Mm-hmm.
So
He was in Korea. He was John McCain.
He was just the shit. And
I don't know if I agree with that. He was like borderline domestic.
I think no. Look at how Kevin Arnold's mom was kind of skittish. Every time he walked into the fucking kitchen, she'd be like grabbing the little dish towel and shit. I'm telling you, bro, he used to smack her.
I was scared of that dad.
Yes, bro.
As a kid.
Hey, hairiest armpits on TV of all time, bro. That's a fact. I checked
arms.
that.
Yeah.
Or my bad, hairiest forearms. That's what he had.
Yeah.
I don't know about his armpits.
But even the way the show began too, with like Winnie losing her brother in Vietnam.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so for me, that was I think I've watched that show from the beginning to end at least 5 times.
This is a question for you guys from the Bay Area, because I was in the Midwest at the time. Did you guys get the rumors that the friend on Wonder Years was actually Marilyn Manson as a young kid?
I
You
heard that too?
Yes. Isn't it crazy how you hear the same rumors in different parts of the country and nobody had email or social media or anything at the time?
Dude. And it's crazy that they would even make that comparison, because Paul Pfeiffer was for sure a fucking psychopathic killer. You know what I'm saying? Like but Marilyn Manson, she's a fucking musician. You know?
Yeah.
I think Rudy's a savant, man. He knows all about. He can
Again,
name the credits right now.
He
can list the
Paul
credits right now.
fucking Pfeiffer, bro.
See, it only took me how many seasons to learn what the fuck Rudy likes?
That's what I'm into. Give me all the Wonder Years trivia.
So I'm gonna go with it's not even close for me. It's the Wonder Years hands down.
Yeah.
Even though I did watch Boy Meets World, there were a lot of lessons in there. Topanga was fine and shit back then, but to me, hands down, it was the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to see. I don't know about you, Rudy, but I always wanted to see. I don't know if you heard this that J-Lo was going to come out with a Latino version.
No, I don't want that shit.
And I wanted to see it
Ugh, why?
because I felt like there was certain things that I did growing up. Like growing up in a border town, I tell people this story all the time. Where growing up, I just had eggs and chorizo just growing up. That was a thing. Yeah. I think I was like 11 years old when I had a friend stay the night, and we had eggs and chorizo in the morning, and he looked at it like, what the fuck is this?
Is your mom making dog food?
Yeah, what is this? And I was like, you never had eggs and chorizo?
Right.
And boy, we turned that white boy Mexican within a matter of
Real
5
quick.
fucking minutes. He went home. Mom, we were buying chorizo. I need that shit.
And don't give me that
house.
soy shit, all right? I want the real pork ass.
And chorizo is hella different in Texas too than it is here. So you know, it was little things like that.
So
Where
you
I was
wanted
like,
to see
I
the
would
J-Lo
like to see
version.
the little J-Lo version.
But Rudy,
of that.
don't hate on our white breakfast, all right? We didn't have chorizo, but we had very bland white toast with a little bit of butter and, you know.
Right.
Maybe some avocado, right?
No avocado in the Midwest, man. I didn't have avocado until I
They're
moved out
fucking
here.
called Eggs Benedict. Even the name is the whitest name. It's the whitest breakfast with the whitest name for the whitest people. For fucking Eggs Benedict. I mean, look. Here's the thing about, well, number one, chorizo is delicious. Let's just establish that. Right now. Let's all establish that. So it really wasn't a matter of culture; it was a matter of fucking taste buds. Like this kid finally had some delicious shit. But I'm gonna go with Wonder Years also because the main reason is, you know, they both had their stories. They both had their leading ladies, which I'll get to in a second. But I really liked the stylish, the style of Wonder Years because the way it was shot, there was no laugh track.
Yes.
It made me feel mature.
That's a good point.
It made me feel mature watching it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And plus, I liked seeing a story of a young kid whose life was parallel to mine. You know what I mean? Because I was kind of going like I was around that age too. You know, because the show starts when Kevin Arnold is 12, and then it ends when I think it goes like 6 or 7 years. So it ends when he's like 19.
Yep.
And he's like fucking driving for the fast food company, and he's driving that fucking
The Chinese food
that
car and shit.
my bad, that Chinese food company or restaurant. So I'm gonna go with Wonder Years for the main. I mean, the stories were great, and the fucking dad was phenomenal, and his fucking brother Wayne, always calling him butthead and shit. It was great. Everything was great. And on top of that, bro, Winnie Cooper, bro, all day, every day. Them little fucked up ass bangs that she had, they were all cut all crooked and shit. And when she was a little girl, and then her innocence made her so, for a 13-year-old kid,
She ended as a hodo. You know that, right? She was out there sucking another dude's dick.
But those are the Wonder Years. You know what I'm saying? That's
How this show got its name.
You wonder what his dick tastes like, and you be like, "Fuck it, I'm tired of sucking fucking Kevin's dick." So no, but whatever she did, that's fine. I mean, the show to her, she was just like to me the epitome of like that's the fucking girl next door. That's the fantasy. That's the type of girl you want to pull, right? So Wonder Years it reached a different part of me, like because it made me feel mature because I was watching like a show like that, a coming of age tale. And Winnie Cooper, bro, ultimate girl next door. Man.
It was that first scene when Winnie Cooper shows up at the bus stop, and they're like, "Who's that little girl?" It was that for you, huh?
Straight up.
And
even
then
Paul
boots
Pfeiffer,
on, and you was like, "Shit, who is that?"
And I respect Paul Pfeiffer because he never tried to get at Winnie, ever, because he knew
Did
his.
he do it on one episode?
No, he never tried to get at Winnie, bro. Paul Pfeiffer would never get down like that. And plus, he knew
Loyal
his
best friend.
He knew his lane. He was like, I can't compete with Kevin Arnold. Look at him, he's gorgeous. And I look like the fucking future Marilyn Manson. You know what I'm saying? So he was a real one. Even though Kevin did him dirty a couple times, but
Yeah, Kevin did. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Boy Meets World had its moments, though. I can't remember the teacher's name now.
Mr. Feeney.
Mr. Feeney.
Who was his next door neighbor. Yes.
So Mr. Feeney's a G.
And I don't know why he had like a partial English accent.
Yeah,
Good morning, Mr. Matthews. We're like, why? Why are you talking like that?
Like Mr. Feeney, best next door neighbor since Wilson on Home Improvement.
Right.
But also, like, I also like that Sean, the sort of misfit friend, had some serious moments when the dad had to come to defend him because his dad was in town and acting a fool.
His dad was a fucking loser.
Yeah. So but his best friend's dad stepped up and was like, no, he's gonna stay with us. So it had its moments, but Yeah, I don't know. I can't get over Topanga.
Now Sean and Topanga definitely fucked on the side. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Boy Meets World means.
You mean like during filming?
No, like probably like if you
Like
dig
he was
deeper.
knocking on the trailer?
Oh, come on, dog. You think Topanga's gonna resist Sean? She's with this curly headed fuck. That's like he's got a good heart, but fucking Sean is slanging that thing. You know what I'm saying?
And I
promise
think
you
that was one of the reasons why I picked both those shows, because those were brothers on different
Yeah,
shows.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
You had what's his name?
Oh, yeah,
Ben Savage and
he had his brother too. I forgot about
Yeah,
his
yeah,
brother. His
so-
brother's probably fucking Topanga too, man. They were both fucking more desirable than.
I feel like someone needs to
than
defend
Corey.
Topanga's good honor here. I don't think she was giving it up that easy.
I think she was, bro. She
was in my mind.
Remember how she started? She started off one of them fucking free spirit girls. If you remember, like deeply into the show when it first
Oh,
started,
yeah.
she was like, "I'm Topanga," and she was like doing all this weird shit with her makeup on her face. She was like a little fucking hippie at 13. You think she's gonna turn into a housewife by 20? No, hell no, bro. She's going through her mystic stages.
All right, so hippie equals slut according to you.
Well, crystals around your necklace equals slut.
Okay. I'm gonna have to talk to my wife about her crystals.
Babe, we're getting rid of the crystals.
This is gonna be the last question, but I'm gonna put it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna edit it just right.
Okay.
Only because I want to end on a good bit.
This has been a
Good bit.
great fucking interview, though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta
Good,
say that.
good.
I want to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that, bro.
appreciate
Good, good. I'm having a good
Yes,
time.
Yeah.
thank you. Only because I wanted to ask, but I didn't, so I'm going to. So we're going with Dave Chappelle's show, the
wow.
Chappelle Show, or In Living Color.
Chappelle Show.
Damn, that was quick. You didn't even think of that.
Look, I love In Living Color. I think it was groundbreaking at the time. Chappelle's the GOAT. Like, it's just everything he does is so right up to the line of controversy that it's so good. He's got his finger on the temperature. It's like, I liked In Living Color. In Living Color had like
Do you think there could have been a Chappelle Show without In Living Color, though?
No, probably not. Like In Living Color paved the way in a lot of ways, but In Living Color also created some shows that I didn't like that much, like Mad TV. I was never a big Mad TV. I was never a big Mad TV fan.
Shout
like,
out to Bobby Lee.
well, fine, but it's just
Yeah.
not. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
And In Living Color had some corny bits and skits and things like that I wasn't crazy about, but it gave birth to people like Jim Carrey, right?
Right.
Like and
Jamie Foxx.
and yeah. So I just. Just Chappelle Show to me is like so much on another level. I just can't go against it.
All right, before Rudy goes on his rant, let me give
I won't rant it up. I'll give you a straight one.
No. Is I feel like In Living Color had birthed everything else after it, so you got to give it its respect. However, if you go to any of my shit, the reason my stage name is Rick James is because of Dave Chappelle. To me, he's the GOAT because that's the era I grew up in. So to me, you can't fuck with Dave. Like, you just can't. Like, you know, regardless if you're Corey Holcomb or not. You know what I mean? You wanna shit on the man and his whole body of work. Whatever. You're an idiot. But I think I'm gonna have to go In Living Color just because I felt like it showed you what you could have done, and then Dave Chappelle Show just tweaked it and 2.0'd it and made it a better version of something better. So, but that's my reason.
Yeah, I gotta go with In Living Color because In Living Color is the birth canal of not just the Dave Chappelle Show, but like an entire genre, which is really like the genre that we all enjoy now, which is like hip hop, black infused American comedy. And I think In Living Color really like got that going because it wasn't like In Living Color was the first sketch comedy show.
Yeah, Saturday Night
Live was
very,
very, very popular and powerful.
Right.
It fucking also was the birth to many great artists there. Fucking Eddie Murphy and Adam Sandler and Chris Farley. So much great comedy. But Dave Chappelle, but In Living Color kind of like shifted and said, okay, this is the 90s. This is hip hop. This is black culture being integrated like deeply into American mainstream culture. And I was all for it because I was a youngster. I'm like 10 years old, and I'm fucking really deeply influenced by this. And I think if there was no, to your point, if there's no In Living Color, there's no Dave Chappelle. There's no many other types of comedy that come from that source. And on top of that, I also look at, I kind of look at In Living Color like the Michael Jordan of comedy, because there was basketball before Michael Jordan, and it had its legends. But when Michael Jordan came into the game, he changed the game. And the way that we see the game being played today is a direct result of like his flair and his style. And I think that the way that we see comedy today, especially mainstream comedy, where we're talking about Black American hip hop, infused type of like flair in the comedy that we all enjoy now. Like there's a fucking generation of dudes like my age that have been listening to this shit for like 25 years, right? Probably longer than that. But that's to me, Michael Jordan is the one who birthed this type of basketball, just like In Living Color is the one who birthed this genre of comedy
And to
that
piggyback
we're deeply involved in now.
I think I had somebody.
He had to tug on my Michael Jordan heartstrings a little bit.
I mean,
Come on.
Before Michael, the game wasn't that cool, you know.
But this is, I'm going to bring up Mike because I think someone said it best. I was listening about it where I was hearing you, and there was Magic, there was Bird before Michael.
Kareem.
But again, Michael globalized, made it globally likable as a sport. And I think that's what In Living Color did for comedy too. So I think it just changed it something different.
Yeah.
Where I see where you're going with
Yeah.
that.
But Dave Chappelle had fucking classic bits.
Yeah. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not changing my answer.
Yeah. I feel you.
Even though you brought up Jordan, because Chappelle's the GOAT. But like pound for pound, Chappelle's show made me laugh harder than In Living Color did. In Living Color may have done more for the genre, but Chappelle's show just made me laugh harder.
Right.
He doesn't miss.
I could see where you're coming from there, because by the time Dave Chappelle got on Comedy Central and was able to do his brand of comedy his way, all roads had been cleared. So he was able to just fucking put his balls on the table.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so funny. And that's why there are so many great skits and moments from the Dave Chappelle show that we all fucking relish in. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm fucking like 21 years old when Dave Chappelle was coming out for his show. I had seen him doing stand-up comedy and Half-Baked and shit. But in, I want to say 04 or whatever, when Dave Chappelle's show started, I was like, dude, this is like the climax, the accumulation of what the last 20 years... 15 years had kind of been producing through In Living Color in my mind. And when Dave Chappelle did his thing, I was like, yes, this is what we all wanted to see. Like, just free range, don't give a fuck.
And I'll give you that, and I'll sort of like make your point for you that like at the same time Chappelle's show was coming of age, so was South Park.
Right. Oh, dude,
and those guys would say anything and get away with it.
Yes.
Right?
South Park has its place in American comedy lore.
Sure.
For sure.
Sure. And so I could see like In Living Color, what they were doing at the time, nobody else was doing.
Yeah.
What Chappelle was doing, some other people were maybe doing or like
trying.
You said, all roads were clear.
Yeah.
Right? I would if I Desert Island,
right?
I'm taking Chappelle's show over In Living Color.
I hear you, yeah.
But I think that goes to the point where Chappelle, I think by the time he got Chappelle's show, he had already had 9-10 pilots. That's why it came out as Pilot Boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he had the growth as a comedian. Plus he already had that HBO special, which was...
He was already very established.
For sure.
Like, very established.
Whereas the Waynes didn't really... Keenan was there and was working with Robert Townsend.
They took it out
doing
the mud.
Things.
Yeah.
And Damon worked at SNL for half a week or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I think they were still trying to find themselves in Living Color, and it helped them find themselves.
Right.
And now we know them as we know them. But I think Dave was already who he was, had already gone through the gauntlet. So when he got his show, he didn't give a fuck if nobody liked it or not. He was doing his own thing.
Right.
So, and I think that's what made that show just so great, bro.
Hey, just like there's Topanga versus Winnie, there's fucking Tyrone Biggums versus whoever
Marshall Bill.
No, whoever the fuck Damon Wayans played, the homeless dude with the pickle in the jar.
Oh yeah. I was gonna go Homie the Clown.
Homie the Clown. Oh
Or
my god.
what's the Jamie Foxx? LaShonda?
No, Wanda.
Wanda.
I'm ready to go. Oh, she was the best, bro. That's so funny.
I saw a clip of the dating game show where she was where Jamie Foxx first did that character, and they didn't tell the contestants.
They didn't tell David Allen
So
Greer.
when he came around the corner, he had no idea. So funny,
Dude,
so funny.
You got to see this video, bro. It's literally, it's in real time because that's also
he literally had no idea. So he walked around the corner and it was Jamie Foxx doing Wanda, and he had no idea what was coming.
It was either David Allen Greer or Tommy Davidson, but they had never seen Jamie Foxx. They knew what the sketch was, but they had never seen Jamie Foxx dressed in that outfit. Yeah. So they saw him for the first time, and you could see in real time their real reaction. It's a fucking great clip, man. You got to check that out.
I agree.
Classic comedy.
All right, you guys, that's been it.
I'm ready to go.
Main man, Rick James, comedian Rick James, get up on.
In my opinion, podcast. My opinion, podcast. All nine niggas.